How many of you feel like you're maxed out? You're at capacity. You have no more room. For the first time in the history, our technology is outracing our human capacity.
People can't focus, they're anxious, they're stressed out, and they have no plan. More than ever, people are at capacity. They come home at 5 o'clock and they're done. And that's not how life is really meant to be.
A lot of people know they need to eat better, or they need to move their body, or they need to get a better night's sleep, but they don't have the habits to support their goals. So the key is you got to step back and say, really, what do you want? And number two is, how do you create habits focused on what you're trying to accomplish?
Everyone wants to reach their true potential. The only way to reach your true potential is to expand your capacity. And we're going to show you how.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, hey. If everybody's just stand up for a second, I'm going to infuse a little energy into this crowd for about 12 minutes. All right, so here's what I want you to do. Raise your arms overhead. You got about 14 minutes left with me. Lose your mind. We're going to have a little bit of good time right now. All right, let's get that music up a little higher. All right, we're twisting. All right, a little teamwork here. All right, last one. Bring your inner thighs together. Our feet are nice and tight. Stick your butt out. We're squatting. Get that butt right out. All right, now we're squatting and pressing. One more. All right, settle in. Thank you. You know, I've been doing this a long time. I only have a short amount of time right now. I'm doing a breakout tomorrow afternoon. We're doing a restorative session this evening at 7:45, how to kind of relax the brain and move it. And then tomorrow morning and the next morning, we're going to do a morning workout. But I want to kind of start out with this right now. So again, I've been doing this. This is my third practice management university. And one of the feedback I keep getting is, you know, we're talking about behavior change. And it's hard. You know, people say all the time, Chris, I just don't have that willpower. You know, and we just have all these demands. So if you ask any organization, if you ask them what's the greatest resource of the organization, they all say the same thing. It's their people. And then if you have people, ask the people, what's the greatest resource of you? They don't always know the answer, and that's your health. So today I'm going to talk about building capacity, and how do you do that? Because as Vince came up here and said that we're getting more demands than ever before, but if you don't build this capacity, again, you're amazing, successful folks in this room, but at the end of the day, we all know that if you don't have your health, you don't have a whole lot. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, how many of you like to have better energy on a consistent basis? I'd like to have better health. Maybe lose a couple pounds, whatever it is, get focused on what you want. Number two, you have to have a reason. That's it. That's your purpose. These are my purposes here a little bit. I had amazing grandparents growing up. Yesterday was Father's Day. I have now 2 grandkids. I'm 61 years old. I've been married to my wife, Paul, for 35 years. But, you know, these demands are going on and on. So again, and then I got to get on a plane this morning. Oh, by the way, my flight, we had a major problem in Detroit. We had mechanical failure. I just got here 10 minutes ago. So when you think about this over time, if you don't have that capacity, because you're getting more demands on your time and your energy, and then last but not least, this is the emails I've been getting from your crowd. They, hey, Chris, how do you build habits? You do it real simple. You don't climb Mount Everest. Because most people, if you think about climbing Mount Everest, how much is climbing Mount Everest? The answer is about $75,000. Takes about 6 months. That's not really the answer. The answer is about $700,000, and it takes you 5 years. And why is that? Because you better climb other mountains before you start climbing Mount Everest. Most people that die on Mount Everest are not the bad climbers. It's the good climbers trying to save the bad climbers. So when you walk out of here in the next few days with some of the information I'm going to share with you, I'll keep talking about that. Don't climb Mount Everest. Take a couple baby steps, build a habit, and away we go. Now, if you think about what's the problem here, this is it. Capacity is shrinking, demands are going up. So when you think about it, we have the first time in the history of the human race, our technology is outracing our human capacity. Technology is fantastic. You just saw what Jeff was talking about, fantastic stuff, but at the same time, think about your greatest resource is really about you. So this is going crazy here. And imagine if you had a bigger cup, more space in that cup. I've been working with so many of your financial advisors that basically are working with me one-on-one. We do retreats, we do training, we do client events and things like that, but I'm doing one-on-one, and here I hear the same thing. Chris, I just don't have any more space. This is where our book Capacity came out, because I kept hearing the same thing. I just don't have any more space. I'm out of capacity. So if you think about this over time, it's no wonder we're running out of capacity. This is white space in 1940. What I mean by white space, that's personal time. Look at that white space there, 5 hours. Sleeping, 8 hours. Working, survival time. That's what's going on in 1940. And then all of a sudden in 2008, it's starting to change. We're having 1 hour less of sleep. We're working 1 more hours. And you can see now screen time's coming in here. And again, we're all thinking about screen time. But we know at the end of the day, what your clients are going to want to talk about, what you want to talk about is white space. That's your time. And this is the worst thing of all, and this scares the heck out of me for my kids and my family, is that this is where we're going. We're at 5 hours of screen time now, 6.5 hours of sleeping, work's going up, and you can see our white space is shrinking. So we've got to ask the question is like, what do we do about this? Number 2 is stress. 18% of our GDP last year was spent on healthcare costs, 18%. The highest country in the world next to us, in the United States, is the UK at 11%. And we're not even in the top 25 from a health standpoint. So stress is melting us down, and then we go into our health, and this is sideways. You know, it's kind of embarrassing if you think about in the United States, this is sideways. So when you think about why is it going sideways, it's real simple. Now, I'm going to talk more about this in my breakout tomorrow, but this is obesity in 1970. There is none. There is no obesity in 1970. So I hear this all the time. Hey, Chris, the reason I have high cholesterol, I have gout, or I have acid reflux, it might be genetic. Well, I'm giving you an example. It's not genetic, it's lifestyle. So if you think about this in 1970, look what's going to happen. 1990, nothing happened from obesity standpoint. And then all of a sudden, 2000, it starts hitting us. And then today, we're at 30% obesity across the board. If you have kids or grandkids out there, you should be shocked about this one, because we're going to be at 40% obesity in the next 10 years. And then people ask me all the time, what's causing this epidemic? It's simple. No matter where you travel, you've never seen this before. This is a Luther burger. It's a Krispy Kreme donut in the top and Krispy Kreme donut in the bottom. I had my wife reach out the window. I'm from Michigan. I had her reach out the window. This is in southern Michigan. She said, why do you want this photo? I said, have you ever seen 4 Burger King exits in a 6-mile radius, honey? I took this picture in North Carolina years ago. I thought this was kind of cute, so I thought this was, it kind of aged me a little bit. But you get the point. The thing we're not taught in school is how to take care of your personal finances and your health. And we're not moving anymore. You know, one of the things I'll talk about, you come to the exercise session tomorrow, it's a movement session. So I'm in the Denver airport a handful of years ago, and I'm going down the TSA. If you've ever been to the escalators, the escalators go down the TSA, and there's a mob scene at the top of the escalators. I come over to this guy, I said, hey, what's going on? He said, the escalators are broke. I go, what? It's a stair. You pick up your feet, and you walk down the stair, right? But we're so accustomed to not moving anymore. So when you think about how do you build capacity, if I said today, okay, here's what you need to really understand. Not everybody's interested in their health. This is sometimes. But what you are focused on are these 3 outcomes. If you have the most amazing skill that everybody in this audience could develop is how you can focus your attention. We all know that. It's so easy to be distracted. But when you can focus your attention, that directs the ship. You can learn all this amazing stuff, but if you don't have great focus, and this is learned. People think all the time, I'm not taught how to learn how to focus. That is learning. Number 2, your greatest resource is not time. It's energy. It's your fuel. We're trying to manufacture energy every second, and people don't understand it. If you can help people have greater energy, that is and then we get into the drive, and that's the propeller of the ship. That's that motivation, that's that purpose, that's that why. And when you build these foundational pillars, that creates these outcomes. If you're building this amazing facility, the Atlanta Stadium here, how do we do that? You build it by building a foundation. Here's what I'm going to share with you today, and again, if you learn one thing from me today, it would be this. You are the foundation of your business. You are that foundation. Think of your health as a strategy for greater business. People don't always think about this. That's why we wrote Capacity. It's like, if you can get people to be healthier and feel better, they will perform better. And that doesn't have to be crazy being so strict about this. It's just understanding the performance. And this is the basic pillars: how we rest, how we eat, and how we move. I'll go into a little more depth tomorrow, but I'm just going to cover that real quickly here. So number one, this is what you need to know about resting. If you want to change and learn how to focus, you need to change how you breathe. I'll do that tonight. I'm going to show you how to slow down your brain and how you can instantly change how you breathe and how you can create focus. Sleep is a major problem in the United States. I'm going to show you how to get a better night's sleep. If I could get a better night's sleep, we all know we'd have better energy, and the fastest way to age the human body is lack of sleep. And last but not least, you need to learn how to do micro breaks. If I could teach you a 1 to 2 minute micro break through the day, you will perform better throughout the day, and this is cool stuff that you could share with your clients, and they're going to love it. Number two is how we eat. This is nothing crazy, but it's not what we do. It's not what we know, it's what we do. These are habits we develop. Am I staying hydrated during the day? I spent a long weekend with 4 guys that I went to school with. We've known each other for 50 years. I was just shocked in how they were asking all these questions. I'm like, you know this stuff, but they don't do it. So it's like hydration. Number two, how do I upgrade what I'm currently doing? Not get rid of anything, but how do I upgrade it? And last but not least, not on top of that, is how often am I eating? So I would highly recommend, if you're going to write one thing down about eating, is you don't eat for 12 hours every day. If you eat at 7 p.m., ideally, not perfect world, but ideally you try to go 12 hours without eating, and that would be 7 a.m. Allows your body to clean itself. Don't have to get crazy with it, but if you can do these 3 principles on a daily basis, drinking water, how to upgrade, and the timing, that will create amazing energy and health throughout your day. And last but not least is movement. Movement is, really think about this. Movement's compound interest. How many are familiar with compound interest? Of course. So this is what you think about movement. So number one about movement is I want you to move daily. Don't think about you have to work 90 minutes. No, you move your body daily. Number two, pay attention to your posture and your body alignment. I'm going to spend a lot of time doing that tomorrow morning. And last but not least, find an activity, a movement activity you enjoy. And that's what I find more and more people, they don't like what they do. I worked at a large health club for almost 20 years, one of the largest training programs in the country. And my wife says to me, hey, let's go over to the club today. They got these new step mills, the revolving stairs. You want to get on those? I'm thinking, oh, okay, whatever. So we go over the club, we get on these step mills. And the next thing you know, we're on the step mills. And I look at my wife and I said, do you like doing this? She said, no. I said, I hate it. Let's get off it. What's the point, right? So when you think about movement, find an activity you enjoy, which leads us into building this amazing capacity. If you can understand a little bit more how to improve your rest, how you get a little more eating, a little bit movement, that will get these performance pillars to support your outcome goals at the top. How to have better energy, better focus, and better drive, and that extends that capacity. Captain Sully. How many are familiar with Captain Sully? Most of you have all heard the story, but it's interesting. I have a couple friends of mine that are pilots for Delta, and I was asking them one day, I said, tell me about this. Could you have landed on the Hudson and been successful? And both of them said, absolutely not. I said, why is that? Because we don't have the skills to do that. So when you think about building capacity, it's not innate. We're not all born with a white belt or a green belt in martial arts, or we are born that. We're not born as a black belt. So when you think about Captain Sully, he was a fighter pilot, understood G-force, and he was a glider pilot, understand no force, and that's how he landed on the Hudson. So think about in your day. You probably, in your day, your capacity is about this big. You don't have to have, but imagine when the market falls or whatever happens, you have to have this amazing range. And that's the goal as you are going down this path. If you can expand that capacity and you can use that extra gear when you need to, that to me is the secret weapon for optimal performance. And that's what I think more and more people like. They want to feel like they can, how many of you ever golfed before? We all understand golf, that you can hit that amazing shot. So if you're watching the U.S. Open yesterday, amazing shots going by, but the key component for golf is that everybody can hit a great shot. And that's that potential that I think we're all looking for. So as I end, this is it. Number one, if you build your capacity, remember it's not innate, you have to build it, you'll be able to do more. You can do all sorts of stuff with your family members. You can have more, relationships with your clients. You can do all sorts of things. Number two is you can have more. You can have some of these things you're looking for, not just financially, but have more. And last but not least, I think this is what all of you are here for in your world, is because you're here to give more. And I find that when people build their capacity, they start having these things, but most importantly, they can give more, and that leads into their greater expanding their capacity. So tonight, 7:45, I'm going to teach you how to quiet the mind, how to give you some easy movements. It's very relaxing. It's like a chill pill. You'll be shocked how it will make you feel. Tomorrow morning at 6:15, the next 2 mornings, I'm doing 2 restore sessions and 2 morning workouts, and then I'm doing a breakout session tomorrow afternoon. We'll go a little deeper. I'm here for the next 3 days. Reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. I wish everybody health and happiness. Thanks for having me.